Hi guys. Okay, so obviously we're going to start in January. So receive your textbooks from your school and cover them immediately, as well as your notebooks. Normally this happens a week or a few days before like the official school year starts. So when you get your textbooks, please during that time cover them. If you do cover them, get your stationery as well. Make sure like everything is ready so that when you go in for the first day, boom, you are ready, because you start taking notes, you start learning. And I remember my school, I think they even gave us our timetable, the assessment timetable for the term 1. So please be prepared. It's not like grades 8 to 11 where like it's like, hi guys, my name is so and so, tell me about yourself, like those games you play. No, there's no time for that. So please be ready from the first day of school. Okay, so this is February. Cycle test. Please, when you are studying, make sure that you are studying to not just remember what you're studying, but to also learn and understand, because what you are writing about now, you are going to write it in prelims and in finals. That is a guaranteed fact. And then also, with regards to homework, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you what I used to do, okay? I used to pick and choose which subjects homework I would do some days, not all the time. Like, because with physics, my physics teacher used to give us gang homework, so I would pick and choose what day I would do whose homework and when. So that would like help me with like studying, because I saw homework as an opportunity to study as well, because I'd make notes as I'm doing homework. So that is just a strategy I use. I'm not saying use it, and if you go to school with your homework not done, don't say, oh no, I had it on YouTube. That is on you. I'm just telling you what I did. I did Matric during COVID, so that's also another issue. Okay, in March we are still doing cycle tests, and then this is when normally term 2 ends and our holidays begin. Guys, please do not take, I think it's a week or 2 weeks, I'm not really sure. Do not take that week for granted. Study as much as you can, but also please do not overwork yourself, because Matric can be a very, very stressful time. Just remember to take breaks, maybe like in a week, take a day or 2 off, and then the rest of the time you are studying. But my main point is, please do not just sit at home and do nothing. Please start studying. If you haven't started studying, go over your work that you did in term 1. Make sure it is in your head, you understand it. Try using a strategy where you can like teach it to yourself. I'll make a video on like how to like study for finals and all of that, but just a strategy. Just please do not stop studying in your holidays. It is not a holiday. In Matric, there's no such thing as a holiday. Okay, now we're in April. This is when universities start opening applications. So I'm not sure if you guys want me to make a video on like how that whole process works. If you want me to, I can. But this is when you start looking at universities. You start deciding, what do I want to study? Because most universities give you, I think, at least 2 options to choose from. So that's when you start looking. So like if you can get somebody to help you, you can do that, because it's very, very stressful already. Being in Matric and then applying to university, that's another headache. And then obviously you're preparing for June exams. The same format follows what you were doing in February and March. You're just going to continue studying the homework thing as well. Basically April is just a repetition of term 1. Okay, now we're in May. Funny enough, this is when June exams start now, so right here. But anyway, this is when June exams start. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about June exams, because again, I did my Matric during COVID and we didn't have June exams because of lockdown, so I can't really give you much insight here. But I can ask around, like for those that did do Matric before COVID or after COVID, because I really can't help you. But the only thing I can like tell you is like just study, because I remember during lockdown all I did was study. That was the only thing I did. I attended Zoom classes, study. Of course I took breaks, like there would be like a week where like I take like 1 or 2 days off, because wow, the studying was a lot. But yeah, just study. That is all I can say, because I don't know anything about June exams. I did not write June exams in Matric. Okay, now we are in June, and this is when normally the June exams have ended and we have our nice winter holiday break there. I miss those, not gonna lie. But during the holidays, again, please use this time to reflect and study. During that, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks, I'm not really sure, that is a great opportunity for you to study and also to reflect on what you wrote in your June exams. I'll get to that more like in prelims, because again, I didn't do June exams, so I can't really assist here. But yeah, during that time, obviously take a break, but study. You can also attend like study sessions and all of that. I'm not sure if they still do SIP classes. I really do not know, because I'm not gonna lie, in Matric I didn't attend them. But yeah, just please attend those. if you have study groups, study with your friends over Teams, over Zoom, over Skype, whatever you fancy. Just study is the big thing in June. So not much happens in July that I can remember of. I feel like it's just the blink of an eye just goes by. But what I do remember is that teachers would go through your June exams that you wrote obviously in June, and if you can, take pictures of your answers and the question paper, because they will come in handy when you're preparing for finals and prelims. But just make sure to ask your teacher if you're allowed to do that, because I know some teachers don't like you doing that. I have no idea why it's your answers, but some teachers don't like that. But if you can take the opportunity to do so, please do that. Yeah, that is all I have for July. There's not really much I can say here. Okay, the dreaded month, August. If your birthday is in August, I apologize. This is normally when prelims start or prelims preparation starts. I can make a video on like how to prepare for prelims, but just to like sum it all up, prelims is basically an introduction to what finals is like. Normally, if your school is an underperforming school, your school will set your prelim papers. But if it's a school that is like not top performing, but it's got an average and above average, the province sets the paper. Because I went to a school that like was a top performing school, so the province set our papers and they are tougher. So here's a tip: study as much as you can for prelims. Study hard for prelims. That way you don't have to study as hard for finals, because it's basically the same thing. And especially if you're having a provincial paper, provincial papers are more difficult than finals, because finals are a national paper. With provinces, let's say for example Gauteng, that province I think usually does well in finals. Why? Because Gauteng has got a lot of schools, like top performing schools, top learners. So obviously when they're setting the provincial papers, they're going to make it harder, because they know our Gauteng, they are going to be top performers. Whereas with finals, national, they have to look at every single province, the underperforming ones, the top performing ones. So they have to make it like an average. That is why they say, or I've even seen it, that finals is easier, quote unquote, than prelims, because they're trying to make it like even for everybody. So study as much as you can for prelims. That way you don't have to study as hard for finals, because it's going to be in your head anyway. Okay, and then with September, I think this is when prelims like officially start, and I think it ends. I think you're right, for a month if I'm not mistaken. So you normally when I was in Matric, what I did after prelims, I just took that week off and did absolutely nothing academically. What I did was I reflected on the year that I had, and I reflected on prelims itself. Like, how was I prepared? What did I do? What was my schedule? See what worked, see what didn't work. So I wasn't necessarily studying. I was just reflecting on January right up until September, thinking of what I've done, what can I do to improve for finals. But I'll get more into that in October. Okay, so now in October, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to try and sum it up. So I would go through my prelims papers. Again, the same thing with the June exams. You have to go to school after prelims. Please do not sit at home, because this is normally when teachers go through the prelims with you and tell you this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer, this is why I marked you down, this is what you have to do to prepare for finals. And they normally give you your papers back, so you can take pictures of them and then take pictures of the actual paper. Again, please ask your teacher if you can do that, because some teachers do not allow you to. So what I did was, for prelims, because I remember, I'll never forget her, the HOD for Afrikaans, she gave my friend group like advice. Obviously I've said in September that study hard for prelims so you don't have to study as much for finals. So what I did was, after I got my marks from prelims, I took pictures of every paper, and what I did was I made notes on what I did not study, because I did not study every single topic, because that was like impossible for me at that point. So I took notes on what I didn't study, and those were the main things that I studied. I didn't study everything again. Why? Because it's still in my head. I got marks. I got like 10 out of 10 for something. Why must I go and study something that I got 10 out of 10 for, where I could study something that I got 2 out of 10 for, something like that. So I made notes on every single subject: maths, physics, life science, economics, English, Afrikaans. I made notes on everything. The poems that I did not study at all, like Maths, the specific topics I didn't study. Physics, the terminology, I've never studied for physics terminology, that is why. So I made notes and then I stuck them on my wall, and then throughout October, that is all I studied. I just studied and made sure that those were in my head, and throughout October I was just doing past papers. That is the best advice I can give to somebody who's preparing for finals. Do past papers like your life depends on it. There is more than enough past papers for you to do until you can prepare for finals. Please do past papers, because for some reason our Department of Basic Education likes to repeat questions. So if you see a question, let's say in 2020, and then there's a great chance that it might come out in your paper, so you can be prepared for that. And also, when you are doing past papers, do not look at the question and then the memo is right beside you. You are going to fail if you do that. Answer the question to see how you can see if you can actually answer it, and then mark yourself. And then how I would mark myself, I would always mark myself very strict, so that way when I go into like finals, I know like, okay, I can get maybe around like a 70, around an 80 here. Meanwhile, the person that's marking it is very lenient. So whenever I mark myself, even now in varsity, whenever I prepare for finals, I always mark myself very strict. I don't know why, but it really helps. So that is the best advice I can give. Please do past papers and don't look at the memo. This actually goes for any grade. If you have any friends or siblings, relatives that are in different grades and they're preparing, like let's say from grade 8 to grade 11, and they're doing past papers, please tell them to not look at the memo, because they are going to fail like that. They must actually attempt the paper, then mark themselves. That is the long version of me explaining how to prepare for finals using prelims in October. Then we're at November and December, the other dreaded months, which is when we have finals, which go by so fast. I'm not even gonna lie. Obviously, during finals, you're not studying. The only thing you're doing is doing past papers. So like what I would do was, let's say I wrote Afrikaans paper 1. Today is Tuesday. Oh, today's Wednesday. I wrote it on Wednesday today. And let's say on Friday I'm writing maths paper 1. What I would do is I'd come home. Obviously, I'd take a break because I ain't got time to be studying right after I just wrote an exam. So I would take a break and then work through the night. Isn't it I'm only writing on Friday? I'm not writing on Thursday. So I'd work through the night, Wednesday, Thursday, doing past papers, only doing past papers, texting my friends, hey, how do you solve this question? I had a very, very good maths teacher in Matric. Oh, shout out to ma'am. She was so helpful. Like, you could send her pictures and like she'd explain to you, how do you answer this question? So that's what I would do. That's the only thing I was doing throughout, and writing and doing past papers. So that's how I would study during finals. I wouldn't really study, I was just doing past papers. But anyway, that is it from me explaining how the whole matric year goes. I hope this is going to be helpful. I know I'm posting it now in July. That is because I was busy. But hopefully, if you know someone that's going to be in matric next year or in the future, you can refer them to this video. If you'd like me to make emphasis on like any specific points, I will gladly do so. But thank you for staying to the end of the video. Bye.